Zuck the cuck drinks water like a duck, but he also drinks your data. So tell him and Google to shove your data up their schwing schwangs by downloading the Brave browser. It's free, blocks online advertising, and protects your privacy and data from evil tech companies. You only see ads if you want to see them, and you get cryptocurrency for your attention. Don't let Zuck use you to make a buck. Download Brave by clicking on the link down below.
Howdy, lieutenants and economists.
The most volatile, evil, disgusting things on the planet, humans. If you have a video request, you can always go to assholeconsulting.com.
Yeah, I am gonna charge you, kids.
And that is the importance of not fucking up.
You are such an asshole!
Old Cappy. Alright, we finally get into this one. I had to do research because at one time I knew it, and then you get old and then you forget. What is a right to work versus unionize? I think it's non-right to work state because I'm like, unionize? I never heard. I don't get it. Can you explain it and mention towards the Republican Libertarian side which one is better? I presume it'll be the non-right to work states. It depends how empirical you want to be. Alright, what it boils down to is basically the state by state, determined by the state. If your company, the company you're working for, or even the company that you own, if the employees decide to unionize, do all the employees have to join the union? And thus this begets a debate about freedom of association, forcing people to join and pay union fees and dues when they don't want to. And that's what's called the right to work, where no, you don't. Let's say Bob's Auto Shop, and the employees are sick and tired of that rat bastard Bob not paying them enough, and they form a union. They vote to form a union. In a right-to-work state, you do not have to join the union. In a, right-to-work state, you do not have to join the union. In a non-right-to-work state, you have to join the union. And that's it. So it boils down to this. Now, on the other side of the argument, you have the freedom of association, but then you have the free rider problem, where it's like, okay, you form a union, but you don't have to join the union, but you get all the benefits of the union. So the union, and whatever bias you may have against unions, they are at least ostensibly lobbying for the rights of the workers, and so they get a better contract, they get better pay. But Frank didn't pay his dues because he's not part of the union, but Frank benefits from that, and so the unions have it. Now, as to which is better, it's inconclusive. One time long ago, I did look at right-to-work states versus non-right-to-work states, and the right-to-work states had eked out a fraction, and not a big fraction. I want to say 2 or 3/10 of 1% GDP, which is, it's not negligible, but it's not clear. It certainly could have been due to other things, like a lot of these states, the right-to-work states, they also have no state income taxes. So we're talking about one small piece of the economic puzzle as to what determines economic growth. But if you wanted to look at that 10 years ago, GDP was 2/10, 3/10 higher in right-to-work states than non-right-to-work states. I would say there are other variables and factors that would go into it. And so you could look at other stuff like unemployment, blah, blah, blah. Usually, in general, the right-to-work states eke out over the non-right-to-work states. But again, I'd be looking at, do you have a corporate income tax? Like, where are people moving? Demographic changes, that alone is, people, oh, look, Florida keeps growing. It's like, yeah, more people are moving there. So that this is not the end-all, be-all of determining the economic arguments for right-to-work states or non-right-to-work states. But I think it's more of a principles, as I always like to take economics. I don't give a damn if an economic policy increases standards of living or this or that. It's like, did you steal other people's money? Did you violate property rights? Did you take the taxpayers' money and bail some shit out? I don't give a shit if that saved the economy. So I put principles above economics. But I'm torn on this one because you have a free rider problem versus the right to association. If I had to decide, I'd say right to association. I I don't know what it would be. I'm not a labor economist or a union guy. But you would like to say, okay, we all decided to go with a union. And you'd say, well, but Frank ain't part of the union. Well, then maybe Frank doesn't get all the benefits of the union. Maybe Frank has to negotiate individually with his employer. But because that's not fair, to put it simply. At the same time, Frank shouldn't be forced to join the union. Oh, I know this may shock you. Some of the unions were corrupt. I know. And I've heard from several of my buddies, because Minnesota is a non-right-to-work state. They were part of the union. Like, the union, unfortunately, was very political. They do work slowdowns. They're all about politics and communism and this and that. Not really communism, but the rat bastard this old boomer thing, which I don't even think exists anymore because we don't produce shit physically here anymore. It's the white collar bastards, they're thinking of the workers. You want to see something that's funny, go look at the Iron Range where it was heavily unionized. Iron Range is where the iron was. They were mining it out of Minnesota. And there's just a fraction of the employees, predominantly because mining has become more capital intensive and less labor intensive. And they still vote Democrat. It's like, dude, it's over. Like, you're the blue collar Democrats, you're like dead. I mean, forget it. It's over. And they still got this holdover. Those white collar rich people, those fat cats, Monopoly, the guy with the hat, they get pissed. They just, look at that fat rich cat got more than me. It's like, listen, Bucky, with your missing teeth, you ain't exactly going to be CFO or getting your CPA anytime there. Why don't you just be happy you could swing your axe and get yourself some coal? But that is an old paradigm that I don't think exists anymore. Now the Democrats are all trust fund babies and smart intellectual people get the college experience. But that stereotyping unions aside, I have seen the other side. And it is not white collar good, blue collar bad. No. It's white collar bad, blue collar bad as far as I'm concerned. I think you absolutely should have the right to form a union. Because I think one or two employers I had were legit. Everyone's a douche. Everyone's an asshole. Everyone is trying to stab each other in the back to get as much blood out of each other as possible. All right? So I like to see the unions kind of, hey, we formed would you like the machines to work today? Well, Mr. MBA-laden suburbanite fuck, you're going to pay us a decent salary, and you're going to have us work, off shift so we don't have to, commute. And it just, I think, it's like the communists and the Nazis fighting each other in World War II. Kind of like, well, maybe we supply you both with weapons and you kill each other. So I can see where I'm not as anti-union as you might think. I'm kind of I don't want to say pro either, but you go ahead, you form your union. Sometimes the man does need it stuck to him. But then when it comes to the individual's right to work, if I had to come down on one side, I'd say I'm principle, not economics. It should be a right to work state. You should have the choice. That's going to cause problems, namely the free rider problem. Hey, he didn't join the union. I know, but you guys have to figure that out on your own. I am not here to answer all the questions. But that's it. There you go. So, all right. We'll catch up with more asshole consulting. We see you guys later. Toodles.